felt very deep for like 2 minutes into this recording. Hello and welcome to the video that I promised myself I would film a year ago, so here I am. This video is just me talking. I'm not even kidding. The only reason my hair and makeup is done is because I knew I was gonna need to film this. And a couple fun little notes before we start. I'm wearing the sweater that I was wearing when I filmed my first video, and I put my hair in braids, so my hair looked somewhat similar because I thought that that was a fun idea. But now I should actually start talking because I'm pretty sure the title is like a year on YouTube, here's what I learned, so I should probably, you know, actually start talking about what I learned. First things first, go by your name. Just go by your name. Oh my god, past me, what were you thinking? Like, originally I started on here with the pseudonym like Wisteria, which is really pretty. I really like it. But if someone were to say Wisteria to me, I would not turn around. So it makes more sense to go by Aisha, go by my name, even though technically my name is like definitely not Aisha on here. But that's just because I like to have a little bit of fun and I'm not original. So that was basically the thought process behind that. It's just like, my name is me in a lot of ways and I feel very connected to my name. It just makes more sense to go by my name, and I don't know why I decided not to. I feel like part of it was definitely a fear of my name being mispronounced, and that was just, it was stupid because if people respect me, they will learn how to pronounce my name. Another thing that I learned is that you're gonna get a lot more comfortable with yourself. Like, as a person, like if you go back to that video and then come back to this video, I feel like the difference in my mannerisms is very obvious. I'm much more comfortable in front of a camera, or in this case my phone, but moving on. You get much more comfortable with yourself and you allow yourself to be who you are when you can. And that's incredibly important. That is literally, it is so important. I cannot stress the importance of this enough. I'm not kidding. Even if you are dealing with those demons from maybe getting bullied or something like that, like I was, find ways to embrace yourself, because otherwise you're just gonna be miserable and you're gonna be putting up this facade, and you're gonna feel like you need to continue putting up a facade like that for people when you start creating content. And that does kind of lead me on to my next point, which is content creation is much harder than I thought, which is weird because I always thought that like YouTubers and influencers were being a little bit over dramatic when they were like, oh, I'm really burnt out, I need a break. And it turns out I'm just a terrible person for assuming that they were just being dramatic, because firstly, finding a topic for a video you want to film, filming the video, redoing parts where you stutter or do stuff or someone walks in, or a bajillion other factors, editing the video, doing a rough cut of the video, and then doing a final cut of the video, making a thumbnail, uploading it onto YouTube, writing a description. When you have to do all of that by yourself, it's incredibly daunting and much harder than I thought. Like, here's the thing, I'm pretty sure there's only like 4 videos on my channel right now, but they're supposed to be like at least 10. It's just that I got at one point in the creation process and decided, I hate this, I don't like this image that I'm putting out of myself, or this isn't the content that I wanted to make, this isn't the niche that I wanted to fill, and I'm gonna private this video. Like, I have multiple videos where I edited them all the way through and then came back to them a month later and was like, no, I don't like that. And it's so weird how that goes, honestly. It made me also realize what kind of content I gravitate towards, in the sense that I definitely gravitate more towards like vlog and art content, and even like book and movie reviews, which are again something that's relatively hard to do because they're a little bit more long-winded, and I'm still in high school and I don't have a lot of time. So kind of realizing that the content that I want to create and the content that I gravitate towards, and even the content that I'm good at, is harder for me to do because of my lifestyle, was an interesting journey that I'm still trying to figure out how to balance, if that makes any sense at all. I feel like throughout this kind of year on YouTube and year of content creating and year of trying to stream through everything that has been going on and my life somehow becoming more chaotic in like sometimes the best way, in a lot of ways, like the worst ways possible, is just, it was insane kind of realizing how much goes into it, and there's so much nuance that I just like set up my camera to film that video and I filmed it, and I said things that now I'm not comfortable with because I didn't know how they worked. Like I said something about never doing sponsorships or not wanting to do sponsorships because I hadn't done research into how much actually goes into it. And there's just so many things in that video that I look back on now and I'm like, that doesn't make sense. You need to do your research. Even though it's just like an 8-minute silly video of me doing fun editing, there's just certain things in there. Even talking about myself, like in that first video, going back to the being comfortable with myself part, I call myself weird about a bajillion times, and that's again those little brain demons from past experiences. It's just, it's so weird, and it's so, not to say weird, but it's just odd looking back at that. And looking back at who I was, and for some reason there's this giant gap between 16-year-old me and 17-year-old me, and just the development that has taken place and how comfortable I am within myself and my interests and my pursuit of my dreams, essentially. Oh yeah, also past me, life is gonna get like ridiculously chaotic, like so chaotic. In good ways, in bad ways, in scary ways. I'm pretty sure you expected a certain thing that's going on in the world right now, panoramic, to be done by now, and it's still not. Like, there is just so much that I expected to happen that didn't happen, or stuff that I didn't expect to happen. Like, I'm back at in-person school, which is absolutely insane. And I've allowed myself time to grieve with everything that happened, both people and situations. And life is just going to get so chaotic in some of the best and the worst ways. And you're gonna have to learn how to enjoy it or you're gonna drown, buddy. Like, there's no way to say it. You just need to let life take you where it's going to take you. And there will be some positive outcomes. And there might be some negative outcomes, but certain things are going to come out of it. Like, you're going to get medicated, which is wonderful. You get to spend time with your dog and your partner and your friends again. And you can go outside without being cripplingly anxious. Like, you're not having panic attacks every day now. While this video is technically like a year in a review on the content creation side of things, it's also sort of a year in a review for me and sort of reflecting on how far I've come as an individual. There's so much content that I still want to create, and content that I realized that I wanted to create over the course of discovering YouTube, essentially through a creator's lens and not through a viewer's lens. Movie reviews from a cinematic perspective, like series, I want to do a whole series on Star Trek. What that means, how it's related to the real world, just all of it. Writing, because shortly after I started my channel, a few months later, I believe in February or March, I realized that I wanted to write a book, and I'm writing a book now. So I want to do stuff on writing processes, things that help me, things that didn't, things you should stay away from, that kind of nerf all of your motivation, all of those things, and mostly historical things. In the sense that looking at historical figures, that there's a lot of misconception around their lives and trying to find how that is. And part of that is through a psychological perspective, because I am studying psychology and I'm hopefully continuing. Sorry if you can hear my dog. And I'm hopefully going to continue to study psychology. And one of the people that I would love to do a video on, but I know it would take me a very long time, is Marilyn Monroe and her dehumanization. Just like the dehumanization of Marilyn Monroe and everything that went into that through possible personality disorders and just all of these things. So obviously I am not a professional, but it would be very interesting to look into and apply certain criteria and think about the social norms at the time and sort of all of these factors that could have contributed to the way that she is sort of held somehow on a pedestal and in a tomb at the same time, if that makes any sense at all. I'm very off topic. I was honestly expecting to lose motivation. Like, truthfully, I was fully expecting to lose motivation. And yet here I sit super excited about possible content creation in the future. Like, oh, I want to do this and I want to do this and I have no idea how I'm going to do this, but I want to do it. I fully expected to just like upload the video and like never do anything again. And there were times where I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, this is boring. I'm not getting any views. I don't know what I want to do. I edited this video and now I don't want to do it. I like want to take it down because I don't like how I was portraying myself and I don't like what I said. But then I realized that I just wasn't doing the content that I liked and I just needed to be myself, essentially. I feel like this video is honestly going to be kind of a train wreck. And I am okay with that. Like, I realized to go forward in my content creation over this year, I need to do it in ways that works for me, which is not always looking at the camera, because this is like the equivalent of eye contact for me. Not always looking at the camera, knowing when I can stream if I have a high social battery, knowing when I just kind of want to sit in my bed and not do anything, knowing when I want to play piano or play my instruments, just knowing myself and going through that and not forcing myself on a schedule because it doesn't work for me. And since I am not self-employed on this platform in the slightest, I believe I have 7 subscribers, I just need to go with the flow, go with what works for me, and find ways to make the content that I'm passionate about and that I want to make. And I feel like if you are thinking about getting into YouTube and you stumbled across this video, just take away from that being yourself, even if you've been told that, like, oh, you're annoying, you're too quiet, you're too loud, you're ugly, nobody likes you, like all of this stupid crap that people say to you because, I don't know, they want to bully the easy target. Let go of all of that. Let go of your baggage, even if it's just to film like a 15-minute video. Be who you want to be and do what you want to do. I sincerely hope that makes sense. I really do, and I hope that it does. And, oh yeah, one last thing, get a good editing software. Like, I feel like that, that's kind of a very, like, be who you want to be, do what you want to do, oh yeah, and get a good editing software. But get a good editing software and realize how many weird faces you make. I can't talk like a normal person. It's so funny and kind of weird, but also funny. So with all of that out of the way, I am going to leave this here because if this video is longer than 20 minutes, I am not going to edit it, which is another thing that I learned. Look at me go. But I hope this made even a modicum of sense. I hope that if you're thinking of doing YouTube or thinking of maybe even going back to content creation, that you look at this video and go, huh, if this random 17-year-old kid can do it, maybe I can too. Like, you know, kind of like that. So I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope this helped you, and be safe and all of those things, and do not take a shot every time I say "and" in this video, unless you're taking shots of water because you need to hydrate. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will hopefully see you next time. Bye.